This weekend, Melbourne versus Sydney is a round for Reach, and this is an annual thing we do every year, which brings a huge amount of attention to the Reach Foundation and the work that we do in terms of creating an environment for young people to strengthen their mental health so they can go on and live strong, confident, happy lives. 99% of all mental health funding goes into reactive and intervention work. So what that means is once you're already mentally, what that means is once you already have a situation of mental ill health, when you're already clinically diagnosed with depression, if you're already self-harming, then in this world, we will throw a huge amount of funding at you, billions of dollars. But only 1% of all funding into mental health goes into stopping getting there in the first place. That's what Reach is all about. It's what we do here at Reach, is create an environment where young people can understand themselves better, understand who they are, and understand the world around them. And Round for Reach is a brilliant way for us to showcase that, and also have a call to action that, if anyone would like to donate to the cause, which is how we continue to do this work we've done for nearly 3 decades, and it's reach.org.au, and to make a donation to Reach.
Max, first of all, just the club's relation to Reach, and then also, I guess, the fact that mental health now, not just in society, but footy is so important now, isn't just your relationship with that?
So two of my passions are definitely the mental health space and youth. It's probably why I love leadership. To be fair, I love leadership, and I feel like AFL leadership groups are quite up there as the pinnacle of leaders, but the pinnacle of leaders are the facilitators here. Some of the stuff that they do are quite magical. It's quite mind-blowing to me when you hear the figures. 99% goes into reactive compared to what we can do to stop it. And if you're ever in and around a Reach session or workshop, it's amazing to see what can actually happen within those 4 walls. So obviously the connection with me and Jim is strong and was strong and still is strong, and that's a reason why I do love this part of work. But it's also what they do. It's easy to get behind. Hopefully we get a lot of people to the G. And if you can't get there, hopefully the funding still comes through, because it's an important part of society. Yeah.
One of the things to really remember is that adults like Max, like all of us, are a product of a whole range of small things that have happened in our lives that have helped shape us. And that's what the ability to kickstart change, which this weekend is all about, is about recognising these small moments in young people's lives that can go on to really shape who we become as adults. And that's what we do at Reach, is create these moments that can just create a little shift in a young person's life to feel better about who they are, feel more confident about who they are and what they do, and they're more likely to take advantage of opportunities and go on and build really strong, happy lives.
Max, you talk about the influence that the great man had on you. It is words over there on a wall. That's a big weekend, a big day for the club, spiritually, isn't it? Yeah,
correct. And the example of me, when I was a young kid, I was drafted at 17. I had a mentor. I had my real life facilitator, even though Jim was well and truly an adult then. I had him work with me, and it's made me the person I am today. What could have happened if I was at 17 and I didn't have a mentor like him? I could be absolutely anywhere in this world right now. So for me personally, not only the club, it's amazing what he's done for the club, but for me personally, he was my facilitator. So it's pretty amazing that I get to be in this space now and be able to try and get some funding and be the face of the campaign. And it really is exciting. But from the whole club's point of view, the guy is genuinely, he is the Melbourne Football Club. We live and breathe some of his quotes every single day. So it's exciting that this connection, this partnership is still alive. Really looking forward to the weekend.
How much facilitating did Jim Steins have to do with you when you were 17, 18, 19?
It was a full-time job. I was drafted in a pretty good class, to be honest. We had Tom Scully, Jack Trengrove, Geordie Gisbert, 3 guys in the top 10. I was probably right down the pecking order for a lot of people. But I think Jim saw the fact that I was low down the pecking order as a chance for a challenge for him. And I like to think that I had a bit of my own say as well. But certainly what he drew up as the way to go was certainly the direction I went.
Are you working with any young rucks in a similar way that Jim did with you at the moment?
I mean, I'm working with a lot of young people. We got 18-year-olds, 5 or 6 every single year that come through the football club. I don't necessarily think Jim chose me because I was a ruck, but we do have 2 young rucks there. But like I said, we got 5 18-year-olds come through. And the big thing that I always remind myself of is I was incredibly different. So anyone that walks through our walls, and just think about a young 17-year-old walking through to the football club, it's a pretty incredible experience for them, pretty daunting experience. And to have someone like a leader, a father figure, someone there that's able to make them feel welcome, it certainly makes it a lot easier.
Certainly, Brody Grundy is not a young ruck, but I imagine you must be pretty happy to have him at the moment, given the fact that you are facing a little time on the sidelines.
Yeah, we need him Friday night, that was for sure. Oscar McInerney and Darcy Ford are right up there as ruck combinations, and when I went down in the first 5 minutes, it was always going to be a pretty daunting task, no matter who the name is, to go up against a double ruck like those two. So he did a tremendous job. Who knows how long I'm out for? I still don't know. I haven't been into the club yet. I did get some really good news in terms of scans, but how we interpret those scans going forward is still to come. So I'm pretty bullish about a return date. We've seen people in recent days, like Jack Viney, hurt his knee, is a lot smaller than me, and now he's the one that hurt my knee. But he got back in sort of 2 or 3 weeks. I think I'll be a little bit longer, but I'm feeling really good today. So I'm excited to see Brody for the next couple of weeks. He's got some tough rucks coming up. He's got Peter Adams. He's got potentially Nick Nat post that. So yeah, it's exciting to see him go.
So,
Todd, how are you? Nice to see you.
You're only missed 4 or 6 weeks. In the rooms Friday night, did you think you done an ACL?
The word ACL had been floated around. So for someone that's done 2, and we couldn't, the people in the rooms couldn't tell me if I had or hadn't done it, in terms of how my knee was presenting. The worst case scenario does go to your mind. I'm 31, I'm sort of getting towards the twilight, and to do a 3rd knee would have been pretty devastating for my own career. So I had a bit of time down there. I think it was once I got told and put the ice on my knee, I think we had 4 minutes to go till quarter time. So I sort of sat down there for a little bit and just took it all in and went and joined the boys after quarter time. And no one knew my diagnosis out on the ground. So it made me feel good about myself, and I was able to keep a pretty happy face for the rest of the game. I wanted the game to be over as quickly as possible, and it ended up being the longest game of history. But it was pretty. I was quite upset for a bit there when I first heard that news that potentially my ACL had gone, but it didn't. So.
And what can you just take us through when the radiologist, the club doctor, how did it work on 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock on Saturday when you had the news?
I was feeling better and better as time went on. My knee felt good at night. It felt good the next day. I had no swelling. So I was getting positively in the right mindset. Still, the last time I did an ACL, they told me it was okay, and I ended up doing my ACL. So it can go either way till the scan comes, and radiologist was actually at the footy, so we had to wait a little bit longer than what I would have liked, but we got the news, and never thought I'd be happy for a medial, but I was pretty happy this time.
I thought ACLs, you knew, when they do that test when they've been your knee, I thought they knew straight away.
Pretty hard when you've done a couple. So you can't compare it to the other knee. You don't really know what you're looking at. And yeah, the medial also fails one of those tests in terms of the pivot. I won't go into boring logistics, but...
Speaking of headspace, when you're lying there in the rooms and you don't know, that's got to be a bit of an awkward, bit of a difficult spot.
Yeah, we're just talking about that before. Certainly, some of the stuff that I've learned over my time had made me be able to be strong in that space. But the vulnerability of the cry, I still had a little tear in the change room. Like it was a big moment that got put on me at round 2 at a time when you're not expecting that news. It only lasted a couple of seconds, and I was able to get back up on my feet. But so it's certainly some tools that I've learned throughout my time has kept me in a good space.
Sorry. I was just going to say, major moments like the one Max had on the weekend happen in our lives all the time. And so when you think about relating Max's situation to the work that we do at Reach, young people experience this stuff pretty significantly. It might be the divorce of a parent, it might be a failing of a test, it could be anything like that. And these are the moments that can put us into a strong position or put us into a negative position. And it's like Max spoke about things like being devastated and, having a tear in his eye. They're the moments that if you're in a mentally strong position, you can really utilise that and help that shape you in a positive way rather than really governing you in a negative way. And that's what happens when you drift off into mental ill health, because you are not mentally equipped because you haven't done preventative work to get there.
Max, can you shed some light on how the side will look with you out of it? We saw Jacob Van Willing pinch hitting a bit in the ruck. We see him doing that at AFL level with you on the outside.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm pretty sure Josh Shackey might be unavailable. I'm not sure. I think he might have got a head knock in the VFL. So I think Tom's done it for years gone by. Before Brody got to the team, before Luke got to the team as well, me and Tom were a combination. To be fair, back then, me and Harmsy had a go at being a combination for 2 games. So I tried a few things, but no, look, Jacob's a terrific kid and will get his chance at some point. Is this his chance? I hope so, personally, because I'm excited to see him go, but I certainly think Tom can handle the ruck as well if that's the way they go.
You've spoken glowingly about Brody throughout this pre-season, but obviously you spent most of last year on the sideline. So have you had to sort of build up his confidence a little bit? And of course, he's going to be ready to assume the number 1 role, but do you think it's been important he's been able to have the 2 games alongside you before stepping into this role now for whatever time it is?
Yeah, it's probably a good way to look at it. Some of the stuff he did at training made you forget that he'd been out of footy for a while, because his training stuff was really, really good. And then as soon as the game stuff starts, and you haven't played for 12 months, I've been in that space before, as I've just said, it can be quite hard to get up to the game level. But I think he's started really well. I think, especially the 2 practice games against Richmond and St Kilda, he was right up on a top level straight away. So, no, I've got no issues with him running out games, with how he's going to perform. He's a 2-time All-Australian who missed 12 months of footy, and he's played 4 games in a row now, so I think he's ready to peak.
Simon said before Friday night that given they're beating you in the semi, that very keen to see how you're going to match up against them and, try and implement a few things that you learned from that game. What did you get out of Friday night, do you think?
Yeah, look, they mauled us at stoppage. And to be fair, they did that in the second half in the final as well. So we did a couple of things going into the game based on what they did in the semi-final. But when they do it at the level that they did it at, there's not much answer we could have given. We could have given more, to be fair. There's certainly some parts that we lacked, but they were a 10 out of 10 to a point there. Lockie Neal, Dane Zorko, Ashcroft, some of their stuff they were doing around stoppages. It made it incredibly hard for us to get there. We were a little bit fumbly up there at the Brisbane Heat as well, and that's a pretty good home ground advantage, I must say. They did it to us at the G 5 weeks ago, so I'm not using that as 5 games ago. But yeah, we just sort of got mauled a little bit early, and I don't think we'll get a bit of momentum of what we did late, but we would have liked to do that in the first 3 quarters at some point.
Got that experience similarly against the Swans when you played in that qualifying final that night. Assuming Stephen May comes in this week, he did a number on Buddy, but they were still able to get a hold of you. So is that going to be a focus down back again against the Swans on this weekend?
It was a great fixture for us. Doggies, Brisbane, Swans, sort of our 3 modern day rivals all in a row. And we're excited for that one as well. Sydney did a number on us very similar to Brisbane. I think we were in it around half time and then they ran away with it. So we'll look at some stuff probably from that final, and then look a little bit of their games against Hawks. And I forget who they played round 1 was at Gold Coast. We'll look at those 2 games as well and try and work out a plan. But yeah, look, Steve and Buddy's a great match. It's worth the ticket price alone, to be fair. I used to always think like Gawn Laddams was worth the ticket price, but apparently it's not. Apparently it's all for May, Buddy, and the Papley matchup is always really exciting as well. So no, I think it's going to be close. Sydney are at the top of the ladder or close to. They've had 2 outstanding performances. And they beat us six matches ago, so it's going to be exciting.
After the false start on Friday night, Nick Maisie is a lock for this weekend. Was that just a precaution?
I dare say he is. I think someone's come out and potentially said it, so I don't think I'm saying the news now. But yeah, he got extremely close. I wasn't really aware until maybe in 3-4 hours before the game that Tomo was the one they were going with. So that's how close he got. And I mean, with soft tissue, you can get that close. Maybe if the game was a Saturday, Maisie's playing. So if it's now 9 days later than that Friday, I dare say he's ready to go.